Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Twin Flame Era. We are your hosts. I'm Josh,
I'm Irene.
and today we're going to talk a little bit about the gifts that arrive when, in union, we pass through various difficult, purging and coming into awarenesses and breaking through, stuck points, ignorance, and the healing that happens, and what kind of direction we're given at that point, to do what kind of service we can do, what kind of empowerment we're given, and in our experience, that keeps growing as you break through, as we break through like new layers of difficult, deep trauma, deep wounds, deep darkness, shadow spaces, things we haven't acknowledged, and in relationship to one another, we like break break into those spaces, and we wake up. Parts of ourselves get to literally energetically pass through us, but it's built on the yin yang energy that we conjure together, total open heartedness. And it's not just a regular trust or anything like that. There's like we talked about in other videos, and you've probably seen, like, it's so continuing to be so sped up, and on the other end of pain, really interesting new awarenesses of where we're supposed to go, what we're supposed to do comes about. So you've had that recently. We both have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking through so much of old trauma, habit, past stories that just cycle through and create the patterns of how I perceive reality and how I behave, like what I do. So I really do take these opportunities, these obstacle blessings of opening up a lot of that, a lot of the heart, which is, broken, and really be fearless with you to go through all of that and uncover so much unexpressed emotion that gets to have its time to arise to the surface and be expressed, so it resolves in reality, not just stuck in the body.
Mm.
And when we've had these experiences, literally the next day, things just harmoniously line up, where paths are unblocked and signs are given. Our external world is in synchronicity with agreeing to a unified path of service, allowing us to find those destinies, to use our skills to help heal others around us. And that certainly has happened with me recently, specifically around linking my ancestral connection to the Qigong practice and Kung Fu practice, martial arts practice that I've been cultivating for quite some time now. Now finally being able to bring it back to my heritage and see all of these connections, and then my place here where I live opening those doors up with teachers that live in the area and or are coming or doing programs in Toronto. So it's all very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And really guiding. So
Yeah, the links when we allow this process, the more we allow and follow and notice the ease to which um, these paths are opened, the more we quiet our mind and keep our heart open, we can see the connections as they occur, connections of old issues, how they relate, and then it comes into family. And we offer this kind of big amount of energy is coming out of that because there's a tremendous amount of harmonizing that explodes out. And it's kind of, the thing that we're told to do is be on your path, self-actualize, all these things. And it's a huge demand that's made of people, and unless you have, I just found that it wasn't possible to even know what those things should be. And they have to be in line with the service to others, and not just paying lip service to that, but what's my version of actually being useful. And so I have all these talents, or things I built up over time, or my, it's not even about that, but natural inclination mixed with, in my life, when I was attuned to that natural inclination, I developed skills. And now those are all packaging all together, and as we pay attention, we're given all the avenues, all the doors are open, and actually as fast as you could want them to be. Any quicker, and it would be overwhelming. And it's just about riding into that space and making good decisions. And we're not great at that. I mean, we get in our own way, or we get upset, and we think it's not going to work out. So I get, find that there's tension, or I create obstacles that are based on old paradigm thinking, my ego. But in fact, everything is laid out, everything is clear, and all that. And Irene's had that experience where the linking modalities of healing, her personal practice, how that connects to family, familial, ancestral background, and how that's going to be applied to like just people in our community. Like, so it becomes very practical. It becomes really operative and really, it's not just an abstraction. I want to be this kind of light worker, and or bodhisattva like type of person in the world, or even just generally of service. It becomes very like, well, here's what you can do. If you're an artist, like I'm an artist, we're both artists. So in my art practice now, and it's the same within Irene's practice, the work we're doing is in service to create themes and coalesce other people's talents to offer something that has the correct message, and not even message, the actual work is filled with that energy. And this is not really just about you know self-aggrandizing. It's noticing that where before I was thinking of myself, knowing that I wanted to do something useful, but I didn't know what useful was, and I didn't let that channel flow through me. So my personality is still in the way, but the spiritual energy and the channels unblocked, and being in line with that connective path and third energy, whatever it is, that's bred between our energies working together in tandem, that yin yang um, Pisces swirl of open heartedness, which is basically like a spiritual technology that sums up sort of cyclical energy working male female. And it's very fascinating how we're bound, and what opportunities that offers us. So this is an aspect of what twin flame um, occurrences are like. And I know that
But
we should probably offer like help in some ways of how to get through these things. And I just want to tell you that it's been difficult.
But it's not just twin flame.
Well, anyone who's doing this kind of work.
And anyone that is in communication with union. It can look like anything.
And self-union, which is passing through layers of self, the finer mind, more distinct, from very crude, egoic fear mind up through different levels. We have to integrate shadow and light so that the integration of a individual offers optimal ability to be in all realms and to do well for ascension. And in harmony is one way. If you're out there doing it alone, I mean, we also went through that version, and I'm sure there are many. Um, I know there's many of you doing that, and you know, the union path is less difficult now than it's ever been, but because we have gained some tools about recognizing the other is not the enemy, the other has not cornered us into the pain that is part of the union. We're aware that it's just the nature of the thing, right? I don't know. That's what I.
Nature of relationship.
Yeah, it is also the nature of relationship,
And
projection, all that.
seeing that within oneself and how that all plays out with one's own psychological disposition is also, part of the story too. You may be watching these videos and think that you aren't able to relate because you're not with a twin flame, but we go through this individually as we battle the parts of ourselves that are in total opposition.
And isolated, like the general sense of isolation and trackless living. Like you said, like splintered.
Yeah, splintered. And
we've been there. I've been very sick in my life, very isolated, self-punishing, selfish.
So like retrieving those parts of ourselves together and bringing them into union means walking through the cracks and going into the void and really going as deep as it needs to go.
And the good news is that, like all spiritual, deep therapeutic ritual to talk therapy work, there's no shortcut wishful thinking. It is like, the forgiveness is necessary, but we have to feel the event that happened in a safe space. I mean, whatever that means for you, but there is no ascension for your spirit, for your reintegrating all the selves that have been thrown all over the universes. And it appears to me that there's no real way to become unified in mind when there's things hidden in the recesses, unlooked at, ignored. And we have very messy minds that choose to forget, and a lot of wishful thinking. But all those events, all that trauma, all that misunderstanding, all that self-pity, all that, we were hurt. So we need to look at how do we forgive ourselves and others? How do we just see things for what they are objectively and hold that with an open heart? It takes a tremendous amount of power. And that power comes from faith and a system and being with others and having communion with others so you can share and you can be held in that. But there's no avoiding it if you want true spiritual, spirit ascension. And there is no avoiding the human condition and our karma of previous events. Is we have to put it back together in order to keep moving. Yes? So I think the message is that the gifts that come from that are the ones we'd hope they were, So I think that's enough for today. That kind of covers it covers what we were feeling. So, as always, we wish you peace with your partner, peace on your own, peace with all beings you encounter.
We hope you benefit from us having shared this.
Okay, be well.